All right, we're going to look at the rest of the Ria plugin suite. So this is Ria Surround. Haven't really touched it. I don't have a reason to, but it's pretty cool that they have this. It's for surround sound mixing, obviously. Ria Tune, another one I haven't used. Ria Verb, I believe. Yeah, this looks like a impulse response reverb plugin. Haven't really used it, to be honest with you. Another one I haven't really touched ever. Another one I haven't touched. Another one I haven't touched. And another one I haven't touched. I believe you can get decent de-essing out of this one, but I have Pro DS, so I don't really touch this. Recabinet. This is a cool little plugin. It basically has high quality guitar cabinet impulse responses, and because this is the new version with the GUI, yeah, it's a lot easier to use. And when you used to have to go load description, like wave file impulse responses that had, like, you know, Shure SM57 or 57 off axis 3 feet dot wave. No, this, you know, this is a GUI, and you know, it makes it a little simpler to use, and by a little I mean a lot. So we can just flip through these, load them up. It's a stereo plugin, so we can have two different cabinets going on at the same time, or if you want the same. And we also have EQ down here. You know, just a very good, well thought out cabinet impulse response plugin, and it's gotten better over the years, and they keep giving out new versions for free to paid users, and I definitely appreciate that. So check this out. If you by any chance have an old Line 6 pod, you can use this plugin to have a better sound. So what you do is basically take off the cabinet response from the pod, record just the amplifier and the stomp boxes and other stuff. Just don't record the cabinet and any other thing after that. Cabinet emulation, I mean. And then use this instead. And it should sound better. People used to use this plugin, not the plugin, but the impulse responses a lot back when Amplitube didn't really have good cabinet sound. And it's improved over the years, but this still comes in handy, believe it or not. Redline Equalizer. I believe I reviewed this. If not, it's a cool EQ plugin. It has a variety of emulations, and it's just versatile, very, very versatile. It's not too expensive, and you know, I've used it on about 3 or 4 mixes and was very, very happy with it. Redline Reverb. This is another like unsung hero. A lot of people don't know about this plugin, but it definitely has a good sound to it. And if you notice the model numbers, it emulates a lot of older reverb hardware, and it does it pretty well. I mean, it sounds good. I don't know what the other hardware sounds like, but you know, with reverb, you need something that sounds good, and Redline is definitely fits the bill. This is another plugin that I meant to delete. Again, I have a GUI for it now. It's a variety of sound plugin. I have it, but I haven't really used it, so I really can't tell you about it. Rubber filter. This is cool. This is I use this for high and low pass, mainly because it's not precise, it just has a higher range. You see that? Free. Now, RVox. This is another plugin that I use all of the time. It's specifically designed to compress vocals. So, how many songs have vocals? Pretty much all of them. this again gets used all of the time. And it's one of Wave's best plugins. It's the Renaissance Vox, and I got it when it was on sale for like $30. Very, very cool stuff. I kept telling you guys about the GUI. I'll get to the GUI. Well, here it is. These are... Somebody took the semi-analog plugins and put the actual photo of the gear that it simulates. So this is like kind of illegal what they did, but there it is. So yeah, everything that they did... Now you can, you know, like I said, they're using the brand names here, which isn't really legal, but it's cool. You know, it's a free plugin. It's not like they're making money off of it. I mean, I guess it's okay. Not really. But, yeah, there you go. Check them out. All right. Next, Slate FGX. This is a last in the chain type of plugin. It's a limiter plugin, but it's much more than that. This plugin, basically the idea behind it was you want to have a louder master, but you don't want to lose the dynamics. That's the big thing that was lost in the loudness wars. The pump of the kick drum, the crack of the snare, this plugin retains that type of stuff. And it does it really well. And they will be releasing a new version very soon. So, like, let's say in the next year, by the end of the year, or maybe before that, or maybe a little bit after. Let's see. Let's find out. FGX 2.0 will come out. It will be free for people who have version 1, and it's supposed to be even better. So that's pretty cool. Slate Digital VCC. This is another plugin I use all the time on music mixes. I pretty much don't mix without it. It's that damn good. And this is the one that goes on the master channel. So this goes on the individual channels, and along with the mix bus, the sends and all that stuff. And then this one goes on your master channel. SonEQ. It's a free EQ plugin. Half of it is like a Pultec type of EQ. The other half, I think, is like an API. Very, very nice sounding plugin. Span Spectrum Analyzer. You've seen me use it in videos before. It's free. It does what it needs to do, and it works. All right. You know what I'm going to do? Just to take a little jab at IK. This is what happens when you download T-Rack's Custom Shop. It installs all of their plugins. Well, guess what? I don't own all of these. I'm gonna click the ones that I do own. So that one. There you go. So Custom Shop installs... What? Oh, that's pretty embarrassing. Thanks, IK. Alright, I had a little crash. IK's plugins crashed on me for some reason when I tried opening them. I guess that's what happens when you try to open up every plugin you own. Or really all the T-Rack's ones at the same time. Which is something that you don't normally do, but anyway... Let's start with, actually, this one. This is the T-Rack CS Custom Shop. So this is like a mastering plugin. It's a chain for your master. That's what it used to be at one point. But yeah, it has a meter. It has a phase, little like waveform monitor type looking thing. mono or phase correlation, a spectrum analyzer, and you can load all your various modules that you own. Cool stuff. And now back to the Black 76, which is a very, very classic hardware hardware compressor. The Universal Audio 1176. This compressor is heard on nearly every album out there. It's versatile. It sounds good. It just makes stuff sound better a lot of times. So, and this plugin does a pretty damn good job of emulating it. Classic EQ. I think it's like a Calrec, C-A-L-R-E-C equalizer, if I remember correctly. And I don't really use it a lot, but it's there if you need it. I don't really use this a lot either. It was free. And I took it. I have it, but I don't really use it a lot. Linear phase EQ. This comes in handy. Again, I don't really use this a lot because I have other plugins that have linear phase equalization in it. But for the time and for the money, it's a good plugin. The metering, this is just a meter off of the bigger T-Rax plugin. The Opto Comp is an optical compressor. That's what opto means. And it definitely sounds different from your other types of equalization. Has like more of a smoother sound. You'll just have to check it out to understand what I'm talking about. But before they had the white 2A plugin, this was the way to get the classic LA2A type of sound. But it's more than that though. This is a Pultec emulation, a classic channel equalizer, but you can also use it on all your various tracks. I'm sorry, master channel. But the Pultec is usually used for mastering, but you don't have to use it for mastering. I mean, it's just a good sounding equalizer. Period. Okay, the T-Rax Vintage 670 compressor is an emulation of the Fairchild. Let me say that again. Fairchild 670 compressor, which right now costs like $30,000 to buy a real one. No joke. So the people who know what the actual Fairchild sounds like said that this actually sounds really good. So for less than $100, you can own a $30,000 compressor virtually. And then finally we have, I already talked about this, but the white 2A, this plugin, I use it a lot. A lot. It's useful on a lot of sources. It just works. It evens out things without destroying the way they sound, which is what you want a compressor to do. And it's another classic. This is like a $3,000 compressor if you buy the hardware. And you know, you buy the plugin, you get about the same quality. Hey, you can't beat that, right? I guess you could if they release it for free, but that's not going to happen. You know how long it takes to model all this stuff and program it? Next up, we have the Tone Boosters EBU loudness meter. I do TV work, and this one, yeah, pretty much a necessity if you don't want to get fired, or if you don't want to get your audio rejected. This will help you with. See, look at this. If you work in TV, you know exactly what all this stuff means. So if you work in music, you might not need it necessarily. It does have the updated Bobcats recommendations. You see that LU K20 V2 version 2. So yeah, it has like the updated Bobcats stuff meters. But But yeah, it's mostly used for mixing for TV and movies. Mainly TV though. All right. The feedback compressor. I think one of these is mono, the other one's stereo. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It says M. So yeah, same plugin except mono versus stereo. This is another good last on the chain type of plugin. It's for limiting, it's for compression. It makes things louder without screwing it up. Basically, you can use it on more than just a mix, but a free plugin that sounds good. I mean, really, you can't ask for more, right? So check it out. And then this is Slick EQ. I talked about this. This is pretty much my favorite free EQ plugin. And really, even paid ones aren't as good as this. This has a variety of different modes. You can do a ton of stuff with this. And they recently released a Gentleman's Edition, which gives you even more controls. So you should check that out. The Gentleman's Edition does cost money, but it's not like an arm and a leg type of deal. This, I think, is like a tape. No, wait, here we go. British console. So this is pretty much like a free version of Slate VCC, but not exactly. But if you can't afford VCC, this is probably a decent alternative. I haven't really used it, but that's what I get from this. And this is the newer MK, the Mark II version. So definitely check it out. The Glue. It is essentially a clean version of the SSL 4000 bus compressor. It sounds nice. Check it out. I think you can demo it. Otherwise, it's like $99, so it's not too much money. It sounds better than the Waves version, and it can be used again on more than just the mix, but the mix is where it shines. This is like a poor man's LA2A type of compressor. But even though it's free, it still sounds good. I mean, really, it's free, so you should definitely check it out. VBL, another one. And this is a compressor and some other stuff. Check it out. I haven't really used this ever, but VBL stands for a variety of sound broadcast limiter. And then we have the XTC, which is an exciter plugin. It's kind of like EQ, but adds harmonics and a bunch of other stuff. Woo! We're not done yet, guys. Hang in there. I might make this a two-parter. In fact, I think I will. All right. Trigger from Slate Digital. This was and still is one of the most important plugins that I bought and use that has improved my mixes dramatically. Without this, the mixes just would not be the same because of, you can replace shitty sounding drums with this plugin, and it's a moron could use this plugin. It's so easy to just, get it right. So Trigger, and then Trigger 2 came out late last year, improved it even more. It added finally the feature where you could just click on the name and it plays a sample. I mean, that should have been in the original, but Trigger 2 was a free upgrade. Again, kudos to Slate Digital for releasing a awesome plugin, and there are add-on samples that you can buy to make it even better. Okay, this is a Tube Screamer plugin, I believe. Right? 808. Yeah, it's like it's a Tube Screamer essentially. This is great on bass, the TSE BOD. I use this in, I think, 2 of the videos prior to this one. And then we have TSE. I actually haven't really used this, but I think it's some kind of distortion pedal. I think it might be the Rat distortion pedal emulation. I might be wrong though. This one, I believe, is a high gain simulator. So for like metal guitar. And then this one, I believe, is also for like heavy metal and hard rock. And then here we go. This is without the GUI. Again, I don't know why this wasn't deleted. Nick Crow Labs, another good guitar amp simulation. I wouldn't say company, but developer. Ultra Channel I talked about. You may or may not be able to download this for free still, but this has so much stuff in it, it's not even funny. Alright guys, this is the last bit of plugins I'm going to talk about, because really I'm not going to go into the JavaScript ones that are built into Reaper. I'm just talking about VST plugins really. If you're curious, I will make another video, but I don't have any JavaScript plugins that are special. It's about time that loaded. Jeez. Alright, Univibe. Again, a GUI list plugin that I already showed you. Alright, Slate VBC, this is the virtual bus compressors. I interviewed Steven Slate himself about this plugin, so watch that video, the Steven Slate interview, and you'll find out more information about this. I never did review it because I only bought this plugin about 3 or 4 months ago. I kept holding off just because I was broke and really didn't have a use for this, but now I do, so I bought it. I bought it when it was on sale for like $99. So I was like, I definitely need to get this. Basically, it simulates an SSL 4000 bus compressor that's modified with like a Neve transformer. And then this is like a Fairchild / Verymu compressor. So a tube compressor. And then the red is a Focusrite red compressor. These all pretty much go, and this is the rack, so these pretty much all go on your master channel. You can use them for other things, but the master channel is often where they belong. Why aren't you moving? What? So there you go. VBC, good quality stuff. It just like the other Slate plugins like VCC and Virtual Tape Machine, which I'll get to next. They just add something to the mix that just it makes your digital recordings sound a hell of a lot better than they would without these plugins. So if you want the ultimate quality and you can't afford the ultimate quality, you know, the hardware, because I think these 3, well, leaving the Fairchild out, let's just say the Verymu, which I think is like $5,000. So 5,000 plus, let's say 2 plus 3, it's like $8,000 or $9,000 worth of compressors right here. It's pretty damn good. All right, VTM, one of my favorite plugins. Again, one that I use all of the time because it, number one, it adds the sound of tape to your audio. And what that does is it reduces some of the harshness that a lot of times we try to EQ out. Well, this pretty much does that automatically. Not automatically, but to an extent it does. And then it also compresses your signal. You know, tape has its own compression that's a part of the format itself. So what you do is, you know, you have VCC, and then you put VTM on as well. And just by putting those on all your different tracks, it makes mixing a lot easier. That's crazy to say, but it's true. And, you know, I can't give any higher praise. This plugin is awesome. Only beaten by Trigger and FGX. So in terms of usefulness, I think Trigger's the best Slate digital plugin. And then FGX And then this, maybe VCC. VCC and VTM are tied. And then VBC I could live without. I did live without for like a year and a half or 2 years. But I finally bought it. Caved in and bought it when it was on sale. But anyway, on to the next one. I'm going to wrap this up. Emanizer. This is a pitch shift plugin. It's like the micro shift from Sound Toys. But this is free. And yeah, so check it out. Piano One's a free piano plugin. Oh, doesn't work. It's free because it doesn't work. But no, this is free. This is a free plugin. It was. I don't know if it still is, but that's why I have it, because I want to be able to use a piano. Never really used it. Never used it. Never used it. Sample Moog. It's Moog, right? Or is it Moog? I think it's Moog. Anyway. I'm saying Moog anyway. So Moog. You know what a Moog is. If you don't know what a Moog is, pfft. But yeah, this is basically IK Multimedia uses samples from the Moog, from different types of Moogs, and you have it in your computer. And finally, Sample Tank. Same concept as Sample Moog, except you have a bunch of different things. Synthesizers, samples of violins, and all kinds of other shit. I use this to make, to compose my crappy compositions that I pretty much, I've only screwed around with, when I was making a documentary a few years ago. But, Sample Moog, or I'm sorry, Sample Tank, it's cheap. It has decent sounds in it. So if you can't afford like Native Instruments Complete, which is a really nice plugin, but it's like $1,000. Sample Tank is cheaper, and it works pretty well. So that's what I would recommend. So okay, guys, thanks a lot again for the 5,000 subscribers, subscriptions, whatever. And I hope you enjoyed this. I finally revealed all my software tools to you guys. This has been Adam for RealHomeRecording.com.